This is another episode of the Collective Social Network Live, where we interview grassroots candidates on local races. Today, we are joined by Kendra Hicks, who's running for District 6, the Boston area. Don't know why we're.
Hello, Jose.
Oh,
There we go.
oh, do you see us now?
I can, yes.
All right. I think people maybe on the other end will be seeing it.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about this. People on the show usually know that Adam Prine helps us out with the tech and the background. I just kind of do the interviews. He's teaching me, so this is the process. Kendra, thank you for being on with us today. You're running for District 6 in the Boston area.
Yep.
And I'm sure you have a very busy schedule of campaigning. Thank you for taking the time. Why would you? What made you want to run for this race? When is this race? And what are you running for District 6 voters to hear from you today?
Yeah, so this race is for specifically the district seat in Boston City Council. So for those of you that are not necessarily familiar, the City Council has 13 representatives. 4 of them are at large and represent the whole city. And then the rest of us represent specific districts. My district, District 6, includes Jamaica Plain, West Roxbury, Eggleston Square, a little bit of Mission Hill, and a little bit of Rosendale as well. And so it's a very vast district in terms of how much space it takes up because it includes a lot of our big parks here, including the Arboretum. So I'm running to represent the people of District 6. I grew up in this neighborhood in Jamaica Plain. I'm also a Boston Public School graduate and a BPS parent. I'm a renter here in the city and have been for the past 13 years. And so for me, running for office is really a continuation of all of the work that I've done. I have been doing community organizing work here in the city since I was a teen. I started as a youth organizer, went on to become a youth worker and a street worker doing violence prevention and intervention work, and then went on to work in public health to really make sure that the policies that we were building for the city of Boston were in alignment with racial justice and health equity values. So to me, running for office was an act of service for my community to really run to make sure that the needs of the people who are most marginalized are represented at City Hall. You asked the question about my policy platform, or do you want to ask another one? Jose? Oh, hello?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now, Kendra?
I can, yes.
Sorry about that. We're still getting through a few technical difficulties, but I did want to ask you about your policy platform. I see that you're endorsed by a lot of labor groups, Local 509, SEIU, Local 888, SEIU. You're endorsed by local DSA, local Sunrise groups, by a squad member, Ayanna Presley, Congresswoman. But I don't want to leave anything to chance, and any election. All of this labor, it seems like the Boston Teachers Union is also backing you, for your focus on public education. Why is this race so important? Why is there so much power behind making sure District 6 goes to like a lifelong activist organizer such as yourself?
Yeah, so I think that there has been a shift in tide in leadership in the Boston City Council since Congresswoman Ayanna Presley won her seat. and became the first woman of color to basically represent folks in a district in Boston City Council. So there's been a changing tide of more progressives, more people of color, more women really representing in the city council. And so, specifically for District 6, I would be the first person of color to ever represent this district. It's a really unique district in the sense that it's made up of neighborhoods that are both really progressive and also really conservative. And so, it's been really difficult for somebody who identifies as a progressive or for a person of color to show up and really be able to capture the support of all the different, build coalition between all the different folks in the district. And so this is a really momentous race. I think it's exciting. We had our preliminary election and we came in first place by over 1,250 votes. And so the reason why there's so much excitement around the District 6 race is that we've never seen somebody who is a progressive be able to represent this district in a real way. It would be a big first. This is a really big district. For reference, lots of folks who win the district seat need probably, like a few thousand votes. You know what I mean? Maybe 3,000, 4,000 votes to win their district seat. But for District 6, just to get beyond the preliminary, we need over 9,000 votes just to get over the preliminary. We had the highest voter turnout of any district in the entire city. And so, this is it's a momentous occasion to have this collective vision that we've built with organizers all across the city really be supported by so many unions, by so many elected officials, by so many community members, and obviously by all of the voters.
Wow. What you call it? Sorry, and someone's trying to give me pointers while you're explaining all this. It seems like it's a daunting task, but one that a lot of people are rooting for you to help progressives out in trying to bind messaging for a district such as yourselves that has progressive and conservative regions, but probably share a lot of the binding anxieties. It seems like labor, climate, and education seems to be a pronounced part of your platform. What do you hope to help push the city council in Boston to take stock in, to underline, all this messaging that's going behind in your race?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm really excited about, one, I'm an organizer. And so movements for justice and liberation are often underrepresented when it comes to elected office because folks typically stay in organizing and it's really hard to get into electoral politics to get people who are elected. And so I'm really excited about bringing kind of this lens movement building. Hard to get into electoral politics to get people who are elected. I are often represented about bringing kind of this organizing. It's really hard.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. And you're here and I can see you.
I can see you.
Great. So we're kind of bringing this lens of movement building and community organizing to the city council, right? And one of the central tenets of community organizing is really about bringing people with you and about building coalition and about, bringing this idea, this bigger theory of change into the public sphere. So I'm really excited about doing that in the city council. I'm really excited about thinking about how we can deepen democracy. I think a lot of the times we think about civic engagement as just voting at the ballot box. And I think that we can do more to engage our constituents in the decision-making process. And so I'm really excited to think about structurally how City Hall does its work can be shifted for the benefit of the constituents and the people of the city of Boston to take more responsibility and ownership over the decisions that are made by the city council.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I know that we usually keep these short, but we've had such short time to actually see each other here on camera. I just kind of wanted to ask one more time, because we've seen a lot of these races come through here at the Collective Social Network, and we root for all of the candidates that we vet to interview on here. It seems often that once officials are in office, they're kind of chained to their email list and trying to get their donors and supporters to dig in a little bit more, and help them with legislative and policy battles.
Mhm.
Is there anything specific that you see kind of early on, like next February and March, that you're going to probably try to mobilize people to be active in, so they can hit the ground running as soon as winter's up?
Yeah, so one of the things that I had on my policy, platform was to really prioritize the return to an elected school committee. And so Counselor Arroyo and Counselor Mejia have actually spearheaded that home rule petition, from our policy platform already and have moved it forward. And so I'm really, really excited to be joining that fight, to kind of give the people of Boston the right to vote for their school committee again. And I think that that is the place where we're going to have to hit the ground running in terms of garnering more public support and public pressure to make that switch.
Awesome. For many, many reasons, I personally support that fight here from Chicago. But
Yeah,
that's about time here at the Collective Social Network. Kendra, again, thank you so much for being here with us and for bearing with
absolutely.
our technical difficulties.
No, absolutely. And thank you so much for inviting me. And anytime, whether after the election or before, I'm more than happy to come by.
Awesome. Thank you. Best of luck.